Oh, thanks for letting me know, Constance. Okay. Oh, my bad. Here I've been talking for 15 minutes and there's no sound. My bad. I think you can hear me now, right? Okay. See how we do here. So what I was saying is we got a kind of a triple top here and here. And that's a lot of equity sitting there. So even if this is a manipulation leg, I think, which I think it is, I think they'll take that equity and then maybe drive it back down. On one of our longer term charts, we have a red PTF. This is a 60-minute chart. So this is indicating that eventually you should, according to this indicator, take this low out where my cursor is. And that has about a 75% accuracy rate. May not do it today. Could do it Monday or next week because this is a longer term chart. But that's kind of an interesting indication. We also have a bearish fair value gap on the 15-minute up here. We may go right up to 411. I'm going to let a runner run here, but I'm going to take out a position partial on these three tops here that you can easily see on the 5-minute time frame. Okay, good. Thank you. Yeah, that was my bad. Didn't have the button turned on for the sound. Sorry about that. All right, so these three tops here, okay, I think represent a lot of buy-side liquidity. And I think even if they want to drive the market down, they're going to take this out. So I'm doing a quick scalp to that, and I'm going to leave a runner on because we also have a possible run after that right up. If we can close above that, then we'll probably run right up to here. And then we'll see if we get a reversal here. I'll go to break even or close to it if we get up to the 413 level, which is way up here. All right. So, you know, we can see how that goes. So again, like I said before, but you couldn't hear me because my sound wasn't on, is we have a situation here where this is kind of a scalp trade, mainly to those levels where I think they're going to take the equity. And so that was the reason for the trade at this point. It's also 120, so the macro usually kicks in around this time. And then again, we'll see what it does at 2. But let's see if we can get up there, take a partial here. Always, I mean, I've only got 2 contracts on micros. I'm trying to keep it realistic for new traders. And the thing is that you need to always trade with contracts you're comfortable with. Not only that makes sense for your overall risk based on the science of your account, but also for your emotional situation. Stay in control of your trading. And if you can practice with 1 micro in the beginning and make money, that will give you the confidence to boost that up a little bit. But if you start out at the gate with too much risk, A, you could blow your account out because these markets change fast. But also, 2, you're not going to be comfortable. And what you want to do is learn the craft of trading, the skill of trading the markets. And in doing that, if you have too much risk on, you're going to be trading your fear and greed and not learning how to trade. So I think it's really important to first get it down. Okay. All right. So we're kind of getting close to these areas. We haven't really broken them yet, but I think we kind of will. And we'll see. Okay. There's no guarantees. But again, I think it makes sense because even if they're going to run it down, this would be a great manipulation to take these buy-side liquidity out here. Okay, so we got a little bit of a fair value gap formed here. All right. Now, it's very possible we could take that liquidity out and sell off from here too. So that's why I want to kind of yank a big position out here, half the position out here, and see. It's not a big position. It's 1 micro. Keep that in mind. All right. So there is, we're moving up. This is the 5-minute chart. So we're moving up to our equity levels that we kind of want to see hit here. Okay. So we got 1 profit on that. We're going to keep the runner going. Move our stop up under there for now. And they may bring it up to this next line here, okay? Or they could reverse it here. We're going to see how it plays out. I think because we took equity, I'm going to move it right here to guarantee a profit and put it right under this price bar below the fair value gap. You probably could put it on this one here, but we'll give it a little bit more room since we have a profit no matter what. And so just here, we're up 123, okay, after commissions. And that's also with an open position of 1 contract. So you can trade 1 or 2 contracts on the micro and really work on your precision and still, pull out enough money, okay, to kind of make it fun. And in the beginning, don't, you'll watch YouTube where these people are making $30,000, $50,000 a month. That's fine, okay? But it takes time to get there. You as a new trader should focus really on just being profitable at first and learning the craft. All right, I'm going to move my stop up here. All right, and hopefully that's not too close. But so far, I'm not seeing a reversal. We got 28 seconds left on the 5-minute chart, and that's a pretty strong bar. And if we go to the 15-minute chart, we have this level here where we hit into a bearish fair value gap at 412. So I think we're probably going to go up there. If I had multiple contracts long, I would take another one off there, okay? But again, we'll let this runner go. Now, if you're gonna play a runner, you got to be really careful with your stops not being so close. You got a couple places to put your stop, where mine is now, or under here. If you put it here, okay, that's probably okay because you touched the fair value gap. But I'm going to put it a little lower in case we get a pullback and another surge up. Now, let's look at the 5-minute chart. We just took out another equity level. So we took out all 3 of those equity levels. And now we took out this, and we're getting a reversal, okay? Is this going to be the end of this move up? It's possible. And if that's the case, we'll get stopped out. Is it going to be an area where we just see a little bit of a pullback based on, people getting out at that level and so forth? Possible. If so, our stop should be okay. And if it surges higher, then we go up to here. So I this is probably an area at 466 up here that I would probably go ahead and get out, okay? Or at least see what the market's doing there. So that is on this here, that is about 466. I'll go a little under that. All right, so where that sell is represents the next major equity level that they may or may not be shooting for, okay? Now, we just got a green PTF on our software here. So that's indicating more highs. So that's a pretty good sign that any movement down here will be a pullback. Now, the question is our stop at the right place? I put it under this price bar because that is a major area that the market rejected. And it also puts our stop above our current level of entry, okay? So currently we're up, what, 64 points? That's not too bad, okay? And if you wanted to scalp out of here and take that profit and go home, you could do that. And you'd end up with about 180 bucks in a relatively short period of time. And if you're trading a prop account, if you multiply that over 5, 10, 20 accounts, then that would be a nice afternoon, right? But again, what I would do is practice becoming profitable and focusing on the craft. And if using, simulated accounts, great, but when you start doing real money, okay, it's even better because now you've got more skin in the game, creating more emotions. And that's what takes time to master. Okay, so we've got a little bit of a pullback. We came back here. I think they're shooting for our target up here. And it looks to me like they respected this bullish fair value gap. We haven't gotten a big move down. If we do get something like this and then another push up, then I'll put my stop up here. But for right now, I'm just going to keep it where it is. And if that's uncomfortable for you, you could put your stop under here and scalp it out with a much larger, win rate. We're up 40 points from where we are. So there's nothing wrong with that. If I had multiple contracts left, I'd probably do that. Okay. Again, I took some off here because this was a triple top and I wasn't sure if that's all they were aiming for on that. And again, they meaning the market. Yeah, it goes. All right, so we'll see where we're at here. Let's go and take a look at that. Oh, look at that. Okay, this is our 15-minute time frame. So that's kind of interesting. Okay, we are up around consequence encroachment on that. So if we see some rejection here, we're going to get stopped out probably. But let's see if it continues and gets above that. That's an area where I would expect a reversal if we're going to get one now. Okay. So if you get a move below here, if it closes a little bit below here. All right, so now we're on the next price. That's a bullish price bar, by the way, okay, on the 5 minutes. We've got a brand new price bar. So let's see if it's going to go up a little higher. Let's see how the 15-minute, that's a bullish one. Now, the 15-minute, our resistance is at 29,500, which would make sense for our target here. So this is a low liquidity run right up to here, no resistance on the 15. So we have a good chance of hitting our target up here based on the information on the 15. We just got to get above the 5 minute. If we close above this 5 minute bearish fair value gap, then that's a pretty good bet that we'll head on up to our target. And I've got the target set a little bit below this area here. That way I don't miss it by a tick or two. Can't tell you how many times I've done that. All right, so now we may be in a little bit of a market maker buy model area here. Okay, if it breaks out to the upside, it's accumulation and a move back to the expansion, back to the upside. So we'll see how this works out. The hardest part trading like this is having your stop so far away to allow for the market to breathe and move back up. But a stop any closer, is subject to failure of reaching your target. Okay, so now we're expanding to the upside a little bit more. So I'm counting on that 15-minute bearish fair value gap as being an area that the market will head up to and basically get on top or reject this bearish fair value gap on the 5. So this is price action. Now the pyramids have us long already, okay? And the pyramid trading points even further, stop is further from ours, okay? So, and you won't get another pyramid forming until you get a pullback of significance. All right. So what we want this is a good reaction. We want this to continue up from here without rejecting and coming back down here. So now we're getting up to a crucial level. You know, you can get up, we could get up to this level here, wick above the 5-minute or 15-minute bearish fair value gap on the right-hand side chart, and boom, have a big wick of rejection. So we're not out of the woods yet on this. All right, check this out. We got another pyramid here. Isn't that interesting? So it's kind of putting that right at that point there. Okay. So that's kind of interesting. That's an area where you could go. And I got to tell you, with 70 points of profit, I think I'm going to listen to the pyramid and move that up. Okay. We are subject to getting stopped out now before reaching our target. But let's see. I think that makes sense with that much profit. You know, we all have personality traits that we have to overcome when we do this. Mine is I tend to at times move my stop or take profits too soon. So I'm kind of working on that to become better at holding the position longer. And that is a personality thing that's hard for me. In a day trading, I have an easier time doing that on a position chart because I'm not looking at it all the time. But on a day trading chart, it's something that's, for me, a little harder to do. So that's an area I'm kind of working on, journaling on. We're up 88 points. So, you know, to put my stop under that pyramid, even though that may not be the ideal place, the pyramid thinks it is. But, you know, if we get a decent pullback on this. All right, so we're rejecting. Boy, we got right above that 15-minute on the, wow, that's amazing. Okay. Probably go into this equity level here. Incredible, huh? Okay. So now we're getting the afternoon macro. Actually, it was the 60-minute that I think it was going to. So that's right where our target is. Sorry about that, guys. So the 50, I thought this was the 5, but it's the 15. My mistake. Okay. So it looks like we're heading up here. 5-minute is good here. So that's looking pretty good. See, we'll get stopped out, though, if it decides to come back into that fair value gap before moving up higher. So that's the problem with moving the stops up too tight. But it had a profit of 70 points. Hard to let that one dissipate. This will be probably the only trade I do this afternoon because I think this is all the market's going to do is give us this one move up. This is what they call the afternoon session. I'll show you the profit after we close out of this on this trade. And this was 2 contracts, 2 micros, okay? So we're not talking about a large position. I would not trade the regular NQ minis in this account, in this volatility rather. It's, you know, we have huge price bars. I mean, look at this 5-minute price bar over here. Let me bring down the data window so you can see that. But this one price bar on the 5-minute was from 429 to 340. Okay, that's 80 points. All right, times 20, and that's your risk on one price bar if you traded the minis. So stick with the smaller amounts, and you can make a profit on those. Okay, so we're getting a little bit of rejection pullback here. And if we get stopped out, we're done for the day, okay? I'm hoping we won't. I'm hoping this will continue on up to our target. So far, this has been a kind of a nice trade. We had a little bit of a bullish fair value gap here that was respected, and we're moving back up. So I'm kind of liking that. And could it go higher? Sure, it could. but I'll be happy with that low-hanging fruit, so to speak, there, which is not so low-hanging, really. So I think this looks pretty good. All right, I'll be right back. Okay. All right, so we're going to get a little bit of a pullback. Now the question will be, is our stop too tight to handle this pullback? And it may be, okay? Because it may go into these fair value gap imbalances. All right, this could be another potential area where a pyramid forms if we move higher from here. Now, if we break this high here, this would be another area for a stop, but it's also a double bottom. So if they're going to create another high to get people long, then everybody's stop is going to be here, and they may come back and trigger that before reaching much higher. Anytime you see a double top or a double bottom, you know there's stops sitting there. Just something to note. No matter what happens with this trade, it'll end up as a winner. Okay, we use good risk control. One of the advantages of trading with more than one contract is it does allow you to take a partial, and I really like that. Allows you to lock in a little profit, and usually at that point, reduces the risk significantly. But by the same time, if you can get that stop above your break even, then you got a winning trade no matter what. And with that said, I'm not a big fan of moving to break even just for the sake of break even. In other words, I like to have a stop put at a price bar of significance. And if it happens to be above my entry in a long trade, then that will lock in profit. Another pyramid's trying to form. It may get neutralized if we go much lower. You'll see it disappear. You can see it right here. It's a blue colored pyramid, and it just went away right here. Okay, so let's see. Now, where all the stops are, right where my stop is. Okay, so it certainly could go down into that area, stop us out, and then head higher. But it also could go quite a bit down. Okay, so we'll see. I imagine at this point we will get stopped out. It's too close not to. Okay, so we're out. All right. Let's see. Let's let it go down a little bit. So we ended up making $165.90 after commission. Okay, on that trade. So it was, you know, small contracts, decent trades. That's a win. All right. So let's see. So that was a lot of liquidity under there. They reverse it and bring it up here. They'll probably go ahead and take it up to that level we were at before. And that is a great example of stop loss placement. Is so critical depending on what your objectives are. I mean, that was a pretty nice trade for a 40-minute trade. It was low size, so not too bad. All right, so now you see it went below all this area where the stops were, and it looks like it may be reversing now back to the upside. So that was the manipulation at that point. Now, what's interesting here is we have a bearish fair value gap that formed on that. So let's see if we can get above that or not. If it rejects that, that means it's probably going a little lower into one of these other bullish fair value gaps to unbalance the market. If we get above that, then that's an inversion and we may be going higher. So we'll see how this plays out. All right, you could walk away and go home right now, and you have a win for the day, okay? Now, if you want to take one more trade, if this closes above this bar here, our system gave us a 2-bar reversal bullish one. We've got a green PTF. Let's see if we can get above here. Then that was a manipulation more than likely. I could put my stop here. And then that would be the last trade for the day. If we get stopped out, we'd lose probably 80 bucks, but we'd still walk away with 80 bucks. But that would be the last trade if I took that. I'm looking here now at the 15-minute and got a little concern on the 15-minute. We have a bearish fair value gap that's being respected there. That's a big deal. That would keep me from trading again to the long side. And the 5-minute is bullish. Okay, so we got a whole bunch of scenarios going on here. All right. And we have a bullish one down here that formed on the 15-minute as well. Kind of interesting. I think we're going to go above that. I think we're probably heading up into this area here, but wait and see. We can get a close above these levels here. I may take a long and put the stop under here for the last trade of the day. And that would be a 30-point loss if we took it. I think I just do one contract. Winner win a chicken dinner. Yeah, so far we got a winner. Again, you can walk away right now, but for the sake of kind of the room being open and kind of working on the skill of it, let's see if we can get above here without a wick. Let me run over here. Take a look at that 15-minute one. I think we're going higher. You know, it could come back down and go take this out and reverse up again. That's the hard part about this. Interesting. All right, see if Maybe a little bit of manipulation to the downside here. This business is all about patience too. All right, so if we dip below here, okay, you see we closed below this area here, which is kind of interesting where the pyramid was. That's actually a change in structure if you look at it. So that's a good reason to walk away and just call it a day. It's tricky here, okay? So the pyramid really did a nice job with that. Now, as price action unfolds, things can change. So we can see if we want to go long here. But it kind of has to prove itself a little bit, right? Now, if you were trading bull flags, you'd be long because this is a bull flag, right? And your stop would be here. And coming down a little more. Let's see if it takes that bottom out. Look, we got a pyramid forming to the downside. It's kind of interesting. Let's see if it takes that, turns that blue colored pyramid to red and confirms it. If we get a move up off the bottom here, that's going to be interesting. What time is it? So it's coming up on 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock is kind of an interesting animal. Usually at 2 o'clock, market sells off. You can buy it because then the market reverses back. So we may be in a 2 o'clock manipulation time frame here. You know, it's 150, so it's close enough. So we may come down, go below this pyramid, and we still could reverse to the upside, and that would put us in the middle of the 15-minute fair value gap that's bullish. Let's see about this one and the 5-minute. Kind of interesting. So the new Ninja Trader update that came out, it's pretty good. All right. It now draws the profit lines in. I love that. And of course, if it was a loss, it would draw those lines in too. But I like that. It shows me where I entered, where I got out. Easy to find. And that's the 8.17. Our software works fine with it. No update needed. So I recommend installing that one. All right, so now I've got a little manipulation. We did not take out the bottom, which I find very interesting. And so we did not go into the fair value gap lower than this one. And on the 5-minute, this one went into the first fair value gap and so far is being respected. So let's see what kind of push up we get from here. We get above 235. Which is this area in here. If we close above that, that's probably bullish. Okay. And again, if you're in a bull flag, you'd have your stop under here. Okay. You'd still be in this trade. This one's being respected. Are we going to go in here? We never know for sure, but it's a possibility. We're getting some bullish move up to the upside. We got a bullish fair value gap here. Let's go ahead in with one, okay? I like the bullish fair value gap there. So I'm going to put my stop down here. If we get stopped out, this is the last trade for the day, okay? And then I'll put my 467. I'll put that right there. Take profit, and we'll see, okay? Probably should have waited for that price bar to close. That's another problem I got to work on. But in any case, let's see how that goes. So I'm actually trading down on size because we have a profit, and I don't want to end the day at a loss. Okay, that's good. That's what we kind of like to see. All right, so let's just check out our levels here again. Make sure I'm okay. I'm not overshooting. I think that is pretty good. Okay, so we'll try to keep that on there. We'll see what happens. We just got a brand new bullish pyramid. If you look at that, see. All right, so we kind of almost got the stop. Well, the stop is where the bottom of the pyramid is. So we'll see how we do in that one. And this is more of a trade to learn from. I'm kind of testing the idea of that equity level that they're shooting for up here, and the fact that we rejected that and that. So everything's in place, I think, for a long trade. Doesn't mean it'll be profitable, but it makes sense. All right, those are points. We're already up 6 points. That's kind of nice. Again, one contract, $15. So, if you get really good at this and you can make $100 to $200 a day, all right, maybe you won't make that every day, but maybe it averages out to 100. Okay, that's 500 a week times 4. Shoot for that while you're starting out. That's a nice little extra bit of income. And then as you get more confident, more skilled, and you have a track record of profitability, you can up the contract a little bit. Also, too, look at the price bar on the 1 minute as it goes from bullish to bearish, etc., and try to get a feel for your emotions when that happens and see how they change. And that is, a lot of the algos are out there are designed to create that type of environment where people react based on emotions and not obviously strategy. Okay, so watching those price bars go back and forth and back and forth, you'll note it creates different emotions. And the idea is that as long as you have your stop in place and you calculated the risk properly, try not to let that influence you. Okay, that takes time. Okay, so now let's see if we break out of here on the 5 minute thing. This could be an accumulation breakout. We could go much higher than this. In fact, the measured move would probably put it up to almost 29,600-ish level, 590. but I'll be happy if we make it up to our primary objective, which is this 466.5. Now, have we broken the high here? Technically, yes, but we didn't close above it. That's bad. Okay, that's not the rejection. That's not what we want to see. Okay, we want to close above that. That's not good. Now, is this the last bit of manipulation before it goes higher? It could be. Could it come down into this fair value gap down here as part of a bigger correction before going higher? Could be. All right, let's say it goes higher from here. What did it do? What did it accomplish by coming down here? Well, there might have been some stops here and here. All right, we don't know. We do not have a bearish fair value gap forming here, so that's important to note. That's a good sign. How many of you guys like this stuff? I love it. I think it's just great stuff. I'm so into this. I've been my whole life, but really love it. That's a good question. I'm being asked, is art available for TradingView or do you plan to? I've talked about that and I thought about it. There's an expense to program it, which is okay. But then again, not sure how many users we would have out there to justify it. I actually sent an email out a while ago to our database, and not many people were using TradingView back then, but it seems like everybody is now. So I don't know. It makes sense to do it. I think probably do it at some point. All right, so now we're moving up. This is really good. Probably time to move our stop up, cut our risk a little bit. Okay. Hopefully we'll take our profit here before that happens. We'll see. Close. No cigar yet. I've got it, I think, set a little bit short of the top. I can't tell you how many times I've got missed it by a tick or something. No, let's hope that's not the case here. But I don't think so. We'll keep it where it is. All right. Oh, brother. You gotta be kidding me. Literally a tick. I mean, come on. All right, fair value gap, that's a good sign. Yeah, no, it's a good question, Lexon. I still contemplating it. Makes sense to do it, I think, though. All right. Let's see. It's good software, I'll tell you. And you can use it with price action. And I like the pyramids because they are easy to see, All right. So now if we close below this price bar here, I may take profits and just call it a day. I can't believe we miss it by a tick. Let's see if this fair value gap, we went down into it. consequence encroachment. Let's see if we get, maybe it might take it out one more time and see. You know, this is something always too to consider. You know, what was I, 2 points away from the top? You know, when you get that close, sometimes, you know, is it worth just waiting for the other 2 points and possibly go into a negative territory on your trade? Or should you just take it? Probably should just take it when you get that close. You know, it's kind of like, it's a slippery road. I don't like to go into that habit of just getting out because it's close, because then you tend to do it on everything. So it's kind of can be a slippery road to know what to do. But that's good reject. Folks, I'm going to go up to break even under here. Okay. Things are getting a little wonky and I don't want to give back all my profit on this. Now, is that kind of fear? Yeah. But I've seen markets get so close and reverse too. So we're at 212 right now. So we'll end up giving back probably 40 bucks or something, 30 bucks. If we don't hit our target here. But, you know, this is really a good learning experience. I like where my stop is. If it's here, they could take that out again and still reject the fair value gap, the bullish one. So if we go below where my stop is, that's kind of taking it out of the order into the order block. Oh boy, let's see what happens. Not there yet. Don't count your chickens before they hatch in this business, that's for sure. All right, well, we got another winning trade no matter what. So we feel good about that, right? Wants to. Oh man, you can't get much closer. I'm going to just stay with it now. All right, we made it. Okay, good. All right, so 2 nice trades, okay? So what did we do? We did $232 in just about an hour, okay, using just small contracts. Not too bad, huh? All right. Now, if you were trading a prop account, that's within all the guidelines of the prop account. We had good stops in, etc. We didn't have much drawdown. And if you multiply that over multiple accounts by scaling it, you know, if you had 10 accounts, that would be $2,000 we just made. Okay. So kind of cool. All right. But in any case, I wouldn't focus so much on that and focus more on learning how to trade properly. Okay. And I think that we did a pretty good job on that today. All right. So that's it. Okay. I think that's going to be the last one I do for the day. Thank you for coming. Okay. And if you're watching the recordings and you want to learn more about our software, I'll put some links below for you to check out. And anybody have any questions before we call it a day? It's still going up. Okay. Just breached the top of the 5-minute liquidity area because I had mine a little before that. And it looks like we might have breached it. So now it'll be interesting to see if it reverses or keeps going. You know, this price bar here at the bottom, that's a major bottom right there. So we may go way up here. Okay, we certainly could do that. I mean, you'll get a pullback before then, and it's kind of getting a little bit on the later hours, but you there's a 2 o'clock macro kicking in right now. I would imagine we'll move up here pretty soon, even higher. But that's okay. I did my plan. I took the low-lying fruit here. That's exactly what I wanted to do today. Okay. All right. So I think that's it. Okay. We'll be back next Friday, same time next Friday. We had a nice session today, and those were 2 good trades. Let me just bring up trade performance window. Put that here. Okay. Not going to, we had 2 winning trades, so it's not going to be, we had 3 trades. I'm sorry, 3 winning trades. Largest one was 112 on that. So I'm just looking at stuff here. Maximum drawdown 9.799. Really, all the numbers don't mean much when you have 3 trades that are winners because, All right, so now we're even higher. So now we're up another almost 20 points higher right now. So that was not probably the final area. We're probably going up here now and then maybe here. Let's go to the longer time frame. See how we closed above here? Okay, that's telling, okay? But now we're right in, this is kind of where we roughly took profit, that line. We're right in the longer term 60-minute bearish fair value. And we went pretty much to consequence encroachment. If you can see that. So, you can just, let me grab that. So, you can see probably a little higher. Okay. So it'll be interesting to see if it gets on top of this one or we reverse to the downside on this. So if you look at the 1-minute chart, how great the pyramids did. So after this pullback here, even if you went in here, a little profit there, but then here, it really did nicely. Took you out here, put you back in here. Got to be pretty fluid for that. Still got a green PTF on that, 1-minute time frame, but we may get a little bit of a correction here. All right. Coming back down a little bit. Projecting off that 60-minute bearish fair value gap. If you do this, it's absolutely vital to know what's going on in the higher time frame. Okay. And that develops your bias, your narrative. Okay. The model is considered your entry model. There's an entry model. And basically that can be pyramids, that can be, but if you don't get the narrative and the bias right, then you're going to losses. So that's a really important aspect of trading. Go with the higher time frame. What's going on with the higher time frame? And, I even look at the 4-hour chart. Some people look at the daily. Okay, nothing wrong with that. We're right on a major bearish fair value gap on the 4-hour chart. Right. So we'll see kind of what happens with that, if we punch through it or not. 60-minute chart kind of gives us a closer up view of that. And, we could go up even higher from here, or at least consequence encroachment. And that's 25,501. And 25,501 puts us, see what that puts us. Puts us in this area here, right around this area. So, we'll see. Probably going higher a little bit. Looks like it wants to. This will be a bullish fair value gap down here on the 60. And a measured move off this large price bar here puts us right at the next bearish fair value gap. So I would imagine we're heading up in that direction. That would be my guess. Nice bearish fair value gap respected here on the 15-minute. Okay, we still could see a reversal bar here, long wick at this equity level, but this price bar closes in 2 minutes and 22 seconds. And this is a 15-minute price bar. And if it ends bullish, we're going higher. All right, we're seeing bullishness come back into the 1-minute chart big time. Let's see how the 5-minute looks. Okay, they got bullishness there too with a bunch of bullish fair value gaps. Looks like we're going to take that high out again. Pyramid again. So the interesting thing is, let's just say we didn't get out, okay? So you had to stop here. If this pyramid gets confirmed, our stop would be then under here, which would be almost the same place we got out. So if for trend traders, using the pyramids are great. You want to, stay in that trend as long as possible. Okay. But it means you have to have your stop far away. And we give you these little reversal signals here so you can scale out a little bit if the stop is so far away that you're feeling uncomfortable about that. So if we punch above this pyramid here that's blue in color, it will turn green. And then that's telling you your stop should go under here. So they're kind of cool. And you have a green PTF down here. This histogram is what we call the OWL, the optimum wave locator, measuring momentum and stuff. The precision trend filter, all right, I think is just a great one because it's telling us that basically more highs should ensue, should come. And when it goes, you could take long or shorts on a yellow. You should really only take longs on the greens. And then the little column under this thing called Trendline Master, has the ability to draw trend lines. I have that off, but I look down there and it just tells me it's green, so the trend is up. Another 2B reversal. All right, let's see how this is looking now on the 5-minute. So this is kind of interesting. If we can kind of focus on this, I'll draw a line here. So this was the top, and notice we took equity, okay? And then we had what looked like a really strong green bar. However, it turned and closed lower. Interesting, right? So at this particular point here, those are pretty long wicks. So it'll be interesting to see if we get a decent correction right now. So right now, prices are right back where we got out, actually lower. So that's kind of cool. All right. So when that pyramid went away, okay, that was blue, okay, because prices went below it before they went above it. And now we got to scale out NP here, okay. So that's showing a correction in place. NP stands for minor pyramid. So you're going against the dominant trend as designated by the P pyramid. Right? Okay, so now we're in the fair value gap on the 5. And let's see if we close below that or we have rejection off it and move higher. Okay, so this bull flag worked out really good there, right? And we got another one possibly developing now. But here's the thing with that, okay? We've had quite a few pushes up. We have bearish divergence in the OWL. And, you got to be a little careful when you've had 3 or 4 pushes up. So we've had 1, 2, 3. So taking bull flags, you usually get a little more riskier on that third one, okay? And actually, you had 4 push-ups. 1 here, because that's the lowest low. Push up here, push up here. So this is the 4th. I probably wouldn't take it, okay? Even this is a little risky. These are fine, okay? You know, something like that. But on the 4th one, you got to be a little bit careful about that. All right, so now we've come down into this 1-minute bullish fair value gap. We did create a bearish fair value gap. So I wouldn't even consider going long here until we got above this bearish fair value gap on the 1 minute. If anything, this is, we may be changing a little bit here. Oh, we closed above that, and we closed above that equity. And now we could go down to 384 easily here. 384 would be down in this area here. Here we go. See, here we go. Look at that. Call that a limousine. Let's see if the PTF turns red or stays green now. If it goes a little further, it probably will turn red. All right, so we went down here. We still could go further based on that fair value gap on the 5 minute. So this was the equity for today. Okay, so we did it right. We don't always do it right, so it's nice when you do it right. Okay, so that's a good sign. Look at that. Okay, so now it's going into, now we got a bear. Look at the, so this is interesting. So notice on the PTF, it went from green to red. It didn't work this time. So it works 75% of the time. So this is one of the 25% times that it was incorrect. It failed. Okay. So now it's red, showing more lows, but the lowest low in that red area is just this bottom. Okay. Now we're going into this bullish fair value gap, and there's consequence encroachment there. So we might go a little bit lower, and let's see if we get eventual rejection off that. If we close below that, then that's bearish. And notice we're going to have probably, can't say it for certain yet, but we may be setting up for some type of bearish fair value gap in here someplace. So no longs until we'd have to get above those bearish fair value gaps before I'd even consider a long at this point. Right now, if the bearish fair value gaps hold, I'd consider even a short. Let me just see the longer time frames here. Okay, almost consequence encroachment, but notice the rejection on that 60-minute time frame. And this is the 5 minute, so let's see if it's going to respect that. There's a lot of equity still sitting up here, okay? So this may be manipulation before the next leg up. Bearish fair value gap holding on the 5, but we got to get above those ones on the 1 minute. And this is how you just, follow the market as it's unfolding. Okay, so we get continued rejection off the 5 minute. Now let's see what happens with this bearish fair value gap. We got a red PTF indicating lower lows are coming. Do we have a change in structure? Kind of do. Look at that. Okay, change in structure. Close below it. That's kind of a big deal. All right, you can see that here. So we may go up here, reject, and come on down again. Now we're going into roughly what, the last half an hour of trading, or actually more than that. Still got quite a bit of time left. Okay, so consequence encroachment up here was met. Now, would I take a short trade here? Probably not, because I don't like that bullish 5-minute fair value gap holding, okay? That concerns me a little bit. Oh boy, look at that. Look at that 15-minute wick. Oh my gosh. It's 5 minutes, 54 seconds to the close. But if that remains, that's really bullish. So what this leg was a total manipulation if we make higher highs here. And that could be the 2 o'clock macro. So technically, let's just see when that started. Yeah, right, yeah, close enough. 210, that's about right. So basically, you can buy this according to the statistics. So if this is a 2 o'clock macro low, that's a manipulation leg, you can buy it. But we're not going to do that. But I do like this. I don't like that. See, I got so many little things that are wishy-washy on this. Not clean like the leg up that we traded. Could go into a range here too. So you had a bullish fair value gap here, a bearish one here. You got a respected bearish one so far there. You got a respected bullish one here. So you got a lot of contradictions a little bit. And then here's your 5-minute bearish one that I said probably would form. So you got that. So I think I'd wait for it to close below here. And then maybe that would be an indication of a short targeting here and here. But I'm not going to take it because I'm ready to go to the gym. Pretty much done for the day. All right, can we get a win in the chat for today? We did good today. All right. So again, we made 232 in a relatively short period of time with only up to 2 micros. Okay, not bad. Conservative trading with good risk control. Okay, so now we're pushing down. Check this out. So if we go below here, this PTF will probably turn yellow, and that means it was correct. There it's coming. Boy, it's coming down pretty hard now. Let me check out that. See, this is why you got to wait for price bars to close. Now this bar was really bullish on the 15-minute price bar. few minutes ago, like 3 or 4 minutes ago. Could still end up being bullish if we get a rebound from here, but how things change. Wait for price bars to close. All right, so we just got a confirmation of a bearish pyramid trading point here, okay? So that's a short signal with a stop up here. We have a yellow PTF, so that's neutral now. So the PTF was correct on that one. And as you can see, if you look at the history, it's correct more often than not. And the exact number is about 75%. Thank you, Constance. Give me a like. Yes, give me a like, right? Okay, so heading back down here. So my thing is I like the longer time frames to make sense before I take a trade on the shorter time frames. And even though we got a pyramid here, we still have a bullish fair value gap on this 5-minute that hasn't been disrespected yet. So if this gets a close below here, then I may wait for a rebound and then I would go short type of thing, okay? And target this equity level here. And ultimately, we'll try to let a runner go down to here. That type of thing. All right, so now we're gnawing past consequence encroachment on the 15-minute. We got 55 seconds left. Okay, let's see if we get a rebound quickly here. Lexon, thanks for joining us. Join us again, okay? We'll be back next week. You know, if you start getting into this and higher time frames don't make sense with lower time frames and you start getting confused, just walk away. Okay, you can always come back. Wait until things make sense. All right, well, that bar did close above consequence encroachment, so the puzzle still is unfolding, right? And now we're getting a move down. If we get a close below this thing, then that's really, then we're going down here, okay? And I think, you know, the pyramids are smarter than I am, okay? They're telling us go short already, stop up here. But when I use higher time frames, I like to just make sure everything's in alignment before doing that. The 5-minute chart here is almost disrespecting the bullish fair value gap. And look at that setup with inside the pyramid. Boy, it's expecting the bearish one. All right, let's see here some things. Okay, now we're disrespecting it. Now we're going down here, folks. Okay. That's where we're going. So you could go short, get your stop up here, or wait for your entry model. At this particular point, it's a little FOMO-y. Gotta love those pyramids, right? All right, so we're disrespecting this over here, disrespected the 60. I think we're heading down. Let's just for fun. I know I'm not in a trade, but let's see if we're heading down to the 279.5 level. We may get a rebound before then. So what's interesting to note here is there's a couple macros that kick in at certain times. And the macros are the algos, okay? and one's at 2 o'clock. And notice we kind of, and one's at 1 o'clock too, about 1:20. Okay. And we kind of started getting a move up here, but then this one kicked in here, which is really interesting. Now we got another red PTF, so it's still heading down. Don't FOMO into this at this point, okay? Don't do it. It's too late. And that's what happens sometimes. Sometimes you miss the trade. All right. So now no equity is taken down here, but we did go into this order block here. And we got a red PTF. So if anything, now you could possibly see, I consider a short here. Okay. Stop's got to go up here. Partial at the bottom here, and then go for the low lying fruit here, I guess. I'm done trading. I said that earlier today. So my discipline is my discipline. When I say I'm done, I'm done. Made my money today and this afternoon. So that's A-okay. Your stop on this, if you're short, has got to be here. You can take a partial here and target here and here. You may get a decent rebound here and here before heading down. A lot of times, though, it just touches that bearish short value gap and keeps going. But I don't see the movement down. All right, let's see here. Interesting. Very interesting. The biggest thing I think is so interesting, like on this 15-minute chart, is how bullish this bar was just like 4 minutes before the close. And then it turned really bearish. So you really got to hold out on it. All right, so now we're at consequence encroachment on that. Let's see if we get now the move down. If we make a lower low here, you can take out a partial here, target here and here, and I think you could move your stop here. But it has to take out the low first. Do not move your stop there yet. That's a pretty big pen bar. And we'll see. See why you don't want to FOMO into this, though? Okay, so consequence encroachment did not hold and we closed above it. Okay, so if you were short here, I'd be a little nervous about that. We still have one more fair value gap here that acts as resistance, so stop here would be okay. That's going to form pretty. Okay, so here are a couple things. One is on this time frame, you got a nice wick, and you're going to have a fair value gap here. Okay, and you're closing above here. If you close above here, you can go long. If you want to stay short, you could stay short up into that area. Okay, so you got a bullish fair value gap. There's your bullish fair value gap. You get rejection off here. So now let's see which fair value gap wins. Higher time frame disrespected the bullish fair value gap, went down into the order block there, and that's becoming a bullish fair value gap there. Wow. You know, notice on that 15-minute chart, we still have 6 minutes to the close. So if this thing closes inside that bullish fair value gap, that's bullish. And if that's the case, if we climb above that bar, I'd be very willing to take longs, no more shorts. So let's see what happens with that. That's incredible. $30.1 minute price bar on that one. We need to see on this 15-minute how big this one was. It's 100 points, that one. All right, so now we're closing above that. We respected this bullish fair value gap. We inverted these, and 5 minutes away from a close on that one. Okay, this is a model. When I see this, that's a buy model. When I see an inversion and then a respecting of the fair value gap. Okay, so that is a pretty good buy model. The only thing I think I would want to see in addition is to get over here, a little higher over here on the longer term charts. I'd like to see, I'm very happy with a bullish position with that pen bar forming on the 15-minute. If that's the case, then you can target the high up here for a partial and here. It should actually keep going quite a bit. I think probably it was wiping out stops here. And it's interesting that we have a red PTF to see if we're going to come down one more time. So again, we got 4 minutes till the 15-minute bar finishes, and let's see what happens with this. The alignment for me is not quite there still. All right, I'm going to go get some coffee, and then I'll be right back. Okay, what did I miss? What did I miss? Not much. All right, so we got 55 seconds left on the 15-minute bar, and it's closing bullish again, okay? That's a good sign. Give me 1 second. Okay. My dog was barking, so I had to let him out. He's pretty good about letting me know when he needs to go out. All right, so what do we got now happening here? We got a bullish 15-minute pin bar that closed still inside the fair value gap. So the entire wick was manipulation. So we got a respected fair value gap. So kind of not so clear, really. Okay, so here, disrespected bullish fair value gap, still kind of bearish, and a respected 60-minute. So except for the pen bar, I'd say it looks pretty bearish. We got a bearish PTF. We've got a bearish pyramid trading point. We got another one possibly forming. We got one forming up. So this is a channel accumulation. So let's see what happens with this. So if you were short using the pyramid, your stop would be up here. Okay. And then if this pyramid gets confirmed, your stop would then come back down here. If you're trading pure price action, I probably would be a little bit, well, I am. I probably would be in an area here where I need a little more information, need a little more patience. As I said, I'm done trading for this afternoon. We were up 232.10, and we took the high liquidity here, and then the market did reverse. But when I say I'm done, I'm done. But we can still watch and see what happens and analyze. So 2 o'clock macro kicked in, and we may just range now. Be interesting to see if they take this equity here down here today before the end of the day. I think they might, actually. Pyramids did a great job on both these runs up and downs too. Perfect alignment with price action. And it should be because it is price action. Okay, so let's see how that 5-minute time frame is looking. So we broke structure on the 1 minute. You can see it breaking it here. This would be a big break in structure there. I think if it breaks this low here, we're going much lower. If it doesn't and we rebound to the upside, then I think this is the pullback bottom on this pullback. And then we're going higher. Notice how the pyramids here, you got 3 forming inside this consolidation, 1 pointing down, 1 pointing up, and 1 pointing down. So we got a narrow channel here, a larger one here. And so basically it'll be interesting to see which ones of those get triggered. Now we got a dominant pyramid up here. So if this one to the upside gets triggered, it's going to be a minor. And the only thing we do on that is scale out. It's not necessarily a new change in trend. You know, on a Friday, it's very possible the market could just go sideways from here. There's another pyramid. See, that's kind of the cool thing about the pyramids is that they're isolating this channel for you. It's consolidation. All right, so that more narrow one just confirms it's a minor pyramid, not a major. This one keeps going up higher. This one will confirm as a minor too. These are all possible scale out areas. So if you were in a profitable downtrend and you wanted to take some trades off the table, you could do that. All right. You still stay with the trade to the short side though, because the short pyramid, the dominant one marked by the P, is still in action. These are only scale out areas at this point. Because you may get a manipulation up here and then a complete downtrend. All right, so kind of interesting. See, I would be very bearish right now if this candle closed down in here someplace, but it closed inside the bullish fair value gap on the 15. So that makes me pause right now. As I become more skilled and see this type of action more often and see how the market behaves with it, you can start building a strategy around it and journal it and study it. That's why this stuff takes so long to be good at, because there's different skill levels that you achieve along your journey as a trader. And some configurations may be beyond your skill level. I know I encountered that. I'm kind of, right now, I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen with the market here because I have conflicting signals. So my skill level at this is identifying my confusion a little bit. But that's okay. That's how you learn how to be good at this. It's a process. It takes time. And I'm in no rush. I've been doing it for a long time. I'm still learning. Okay, so, this is kind of interesting. I mean, that's a bearish 60-minute chart right there with a bearish, all the indicators are bearish. And we just rolled over to a bearish owl momentum oscillator here. And we are rejecting the 4-hour charts, bearish fair value gaps. Let's see what happens with that. We could climb up and go into the middle of this bearish fair value gap and then sell off. And that's, that's 50 points to the upside before that would be hit. Okay, so we are moving up a little bit. Both of those minor pyramids now have been confirmed. So you got low resistance now up to this fair value gap and probably this one here. All right, so let's just see. Accumulation, is this manipulation, distribution? Possible. Or was this the manipulation? And then we move up here. Okay, we'll see. Okay, momentum just turned positive. We got above the 10 bar on the 15-minute. Now we're heading into the bearish fair value gap. So now let's draw a consequence encroachment on this bad boy. Kind of interested to see what's going to happen with that. So we got a bullish fair value gap after the spring up. That's bullish, obviously, because we didn't really have any except for this one. And that was, they did turtle soup that one here with this. So that's kind of interesting. Actually, they turtle souped it here. Okay. I mean, that 15-minute pin bar is just powerfully bullish. See if we get a bullish fair value gap here. And let's just see what that's bullish kind of over here as well. See if we get above that. We're starting to get a little bit of rejection there on the 4. Interesting to see if we close above that. That's the 60-minute. And we went into that, and we're seeing a little rejection off that. Got 3 minutes until that bar closes. Okay, so now we're pulling into the 1-minute bullish fair value gap. Let's see what happens with that. If we get above here, we're probably going to pretty easily get to 439, which is up in here. Okay, so this will be telling on this 1-minute bullish fair value gap what happens here. Wick below, manipulation below. Let's see where it closes. Close below. Okay, so that's bearish. Let's see if it closes above, that turns it into extremely bullish. So I was going to walk away and turn off the session today, but it's kind of fun to hang around and see a little bit more because everything is a learning lesson. We made our money, so we could have left, and we kind of did leave real trades, but kind of anxious to see how this is going to unfold here. It's actually pretty active for a Friday, late Friday. Price action's not too bad. All right, let's see if we get above here and close. Got 26 seconds left on the 15-minute bar. I mean, you can't get it much closer. I mean, it's right below and right touching it. And oh my gosh. See it? 1 second. All right, so it closed kind of below the fair value gap by a smidgen, but bullish tails, and now it's going back up in here. So we did close above the 1 minute. That's bullish. I think probably low liquidity run all the way up to here. So I think 440 getting up into this level here is probably above our pyramid here, is probably in the cards if we can take out this high here. Probably go up 40 points there. As I said, we may just range in this area. This is a setup I like when I see an inversion fair value gap here. I like that. Pyramid trading points, taking that price action and marking it. Just so you know, the pyramid trading point, yeah, it looks at the price action, but it also looks at the momentum that forms the leg up, leg down, and then the leg back up. So it's kind of looking at more than just price action. It's the momentum that was displayed as that price action pattern is delivered. All right, so now we close below. Yeah, so this is typical range behavior. Because we're not getting a commitment either way once it does break those fair value gaps. Of course, that could change at any time, but okay, going down now. Look at that. And that looks bullish, but it did close just a smidgen below. And now we're getting a more dominant move to the downside. Let's just see if we see any follow through. Sometimes these candles, see how they work out. We close below, then we'll do a 50% here. Okay, check out what the pyramids did here. This is pretty cool. So if this was your short here, your initial stop was here, look what we just got, another P, dominant pyramid. So what do? We move our stop from here now to here. I'm telling you, they're smart. Okay, so now, even if you got stopped out, it would be a very small loss. So it kind of, ratcheted in a little bit, but at the same time, it's taking into account selling pressure. Now, a couple of things with the pyramids, okay? Pyramids are kind of a trend trading thing. But, if you're trading one of the firms out there, the prop firms, they used to have the regular trailing drawdown. made it very difficult to do any type of significant trend trading, especially on the smaller accounts, because in trend trading, you have to let the market zigzag, breathe. It has to go down, come up, go down. The problem with a prop firm with trailing drawdown is this: if you don't take the profits here and let them go here, okay, and then got out here or something or whatever, that's actually going to, your account will be better, but because you didn't take you let it go into negative territory, it actually hurts the trailing drawdown. Okay, so now that they have the end of the day drawdown available, always choose that if you're not scalping. Okay. All right. This is decisive. Okay, we went below the candle here. All right. So if this candle continues bearish, we don't get another pen bar here, then we're heading down. This is the first time since we finished our trade up here, I'm comfortable taking a short trade. Okay. You could take a short trade here. Simply because the 5-minute is bearish. We rejected this bearishness on the 15-minute. We rejected it on the 60, and we're rejecting it on the 4-hour. So everything now is in alignment, and we got a pyramid to the downside, right? Stock can go above the pyramid, right? So at that particular point, we've got the first scenario since we took our initial trade that I would want to go short. I'm not going to go short because I told you I wasn't going to trade anymore. So discipline is an important thing for me. When I say I'm done, regardless of what happens. But this is the first time that everything is kind of aligning the way it needs to be on all the time frames. So nothing is kind of distorted. Does that make sense to you all? Because it's really important. Because there's a lot of times where, I wasn't sure if I should go long or short, and we had a pen bar here, rejection here. It doesn't mean the trade will be profitable, but it all makes sense to go short here. And then I would target this. I mean, if you wanted to scalp a little here, and you could do that, my target would be here. Of course, the PTF is targeting here. Market maker sell model right there. Okay, we should head on down now. Be interesting to see if they take that low out. It's at 314, so that's right here. Yeah, I think the targets we have are good. You got to keep the stop where that pyramid is on the 1 minute. Now, if you're interested in the pyramids, we have a subscription for that. So it's not a big outlay of money. I mean, they're expensive, but if you want to do the subscription, I think it's like $70 a month, $69 or something. And that gives you, the charting software you see in front of you. So it is available on a subscription. I think it'll help you because visually it's great to know what points in the market are important. And that's what it does based on price action. All right, so we're moving pretty down. This is kind of what I thought would happen. Let's just see a possible measured move here. So we go from here to here. Yeah. So that's pretty much near our target area there. Not, that's 50%. Look at that. That's 50% on this wick here, almost to the T. Maybe not exactly, but let's just do that. I mean, look at that. That's consequence encroachment on that long. So even if it doesn't take it out, if it gets to here, I close. All right, probably going to get a pull up now. All right, again, it's late in the day, so it's a question of whether we'll get there before the day ends. But we'll probably get a pull up, and then another, I'm hoping, move down. This would be your stop area, and we may get another pyramid form in here. Okay, that's what I'm thinking is going to happen next. Very bearish candle on the 15-minute. Okay, very bearish. As I said, that's the first alignment that made sense to take trades right after that pyramid. Okay. Let's see what happens when we take this out. I would imagine we get a reversal off this, move up, and then another good leg down. So I'm thinking something, like I said before, something maybe like this, and then this. Oh boy, I should have traded it. Gotta stop being so damn disciplined. Okay, so that is that. All right, new low. Let's see if we get a reversal. That's a very bearish bar on that 15-minute and 5-minute and 60-minute and 4-hour. We're going down. We may get a pullback, but we're going down, I think. All right, so we took out equity there. Now, if the 15-minute ends up with a bullish pen bar again, then this could be a turtle soup, and I may negate the bearishness. But for right now, that's not. And again, pyramids have done an excellent job steering us in the right direction. Sweet. All right. And what we got? Two. All right. Pen bar up. Now we should see a move to the upside with a few bars. Do not go long here. Our target is right here where this thicker line is, right here. $279. Okay, we got a bearish fair value gap here. Probably come up a little ways here. Now, again, if we close, well, we got 43 seconds, but I'll have to wait for another price bar. But if we close, we have a 15-minute price bar that closes way up on these highs here, then that's a turtle soup, and we're going higher. But I think we got some more down room because that's not a bullish bar. So each and every one of you watching this, whether you're watching the recording or the live, you don't need, you can practice on a sim account as long as you're serious about it. And when you get good at it, then you could start going in with real money. Small, because it'll be different. You'll have more at stake then. And then work on your discipline. And when you say you're done for the day, you're done for the day. Don't backtrack on it, no matter what the market does. Okay, you got to have discipline starts first. You got to have that and stick to it. You'll be stronger for doing it. All right, there's another pyramid that gets hit. Guess what? That's where our stop goes. What did I tell you? I told you that we'd probably break this, get a rebound, possibly another pyramid, and then that, right? Remember I said that. Now, this don't count your chickens before they hatch, because if we get a move up, this pyramid will disappear. But if it gets confirmed, then that's what happens. Prices have got to go below the point of it for it to turn from blue to red. And there it is, okay? So now your stop started here, then it came down to here, and now it's here. All right, so not so bad. So now you got a profitable trade no matter what, with our target first take profit at the line I've got drawn here. And that line is drawn at this liquidity level right here. Okay, so we'll see. Now, could it reverse and stop us out and then head back down? Anything is possible, sure. Could this be another engineered low here where they bring it up, get everybody long, and then reverse it? So now they have stops here and here? Sure. Possible. Okay, you got another red PTF too now down here. If you did not use this pyramid as your stop could be here. Okay, right where my cursor is here. I wouldn't have it any higher than that. But the pyramid's got it there. Okay, so if we take this low out here, if you didn't have the pyramids, your stop could go here. So at this thick orange line here, this is a partial area where we take profits. So a lot of the concepts I'm using here are software combined with price action. And I have to give ICT credit for a lot of the price action as well. And he would not like me using indicators, I'm sure, but that's okay. We're all a little different, but that's kind of what you're seeing here. Okay, so all right, so we did not take that out. That's bullish, by the way, that response. We may get stopped out. Let's see. Probably will go higher than this. We'll see if this is another leg of manipulation. Not. We still could get stopped out in that pyramid and still be manipulation. What time is it? 13:30. Okay. Pyramid stop is where it needs to be. It's done the math for you. So that's where it should be. Okay. Taking that out. Still in manipulation mode. Bullish pen bar setting up on the 15-minute with 7 minutes remaining, so anything could happen. And same on the 5. Bearish fair value gap here, though. Look at that consequence encroachment on the 60-minute. It was rejected. It's incredible. Okay, still short in this trade. See if we can get some limousines to the downside, which are long red candles. If we got stopped out here, let's see, we went in right around here, 387. Stop out would be 331. That's 50 points, worst case scenario. It's not too bad. The handles will take that. All right, if we make a new low here and we hit our objective, this is all manipulation, all of it. Designed to take people out. Okay, let's get one more nice limousine push to the downside here. 60-minute bearish. We get the higher time frames now on our side, so we're in good shape here. Not too worried about it. Famous last words. Again, nothing is nothing until it's something. I.e., don't count your chickens before they hatch. All right, let's see what we got here. Now, probably if you wanted to, you could move your stop to this area here, above here, but you technically haven't taken the low out here. So I don't like to do that unless we have a newer lower low. Okay. Let me just check my partial here. Right, still make sure. Yeah, it's pretty good right there. Okay. Can't believe they get that close without taking that out. So I think we're pretty good shape here. Again, we might have a little bit of a rebound. Though I have to admit also, I've had trades where it gets real close and then rebounds 50% and then heads down. So anything is possible. And, people sometimes will go, okay, well, this is probably where they're going. So I'll just go short here and make this little scalp. But it reverses on them just before it gets there. And then they get stopped out and it goes a little higher and then reverses and goes back to where they thought it was going to go. I think, do we have a new low here? Also close. Nope, not yet. Okay, that's a bearish 5-minute candle. Very bearish. We'll probably push down pretty soon here. Bearish, bearish, love it. Okay, and bearish. All the time frames are in alignment. That's what we did not have. Back up in this area here, we did not have that. That's why the real trade was right about here. All right, so now we got a triple bottom here. It's close. There it goes. Come on. Push. A little more push. All right, so we took out, I think we took the bottom out there. We don't get a turtle soup. 285 and a quarter. 28. Nope, we didn't take it out yet. I think we took it out there. Nope, nope, nope. Oh man. Looks like it took it out though. Yeah, it took it out. Oh no, maybe that's all we'll get. All right, now if you wanted to tighten your stop, you could put it here now because it took that bottom out. If it gets above here, then chances are it's going to commit. It's going to do a 50% fib retracement. I'm still thinking we could get that. We could get a wick down and get a partial out of that. Now, if you wanted to, you got so close here. If you wanted to put a stop here or here in case the partial is not hit, but you want to get out of some of your positions, you could do that. I just like to play it as if I'm trading the concept. All right, well, that's a bullish rebound right there. So if you were doing that, you would have been stopped out some of your positions there. Okay. But, we got a profitable trade based on the pyramids no matter what. So it doesn't really matter at this point. Okay, so the turtle soup that did occur here is it swept the low of here. Okay, it did not take equity here. So that sometimes is all you get. Okay, that happens. So, and look at the PTF turned yellow. Still could swing down, but that is a turtle soup right there. So we'll have to see. And that's a big juicy candle right here. And it looks like we got more power behind it and a change in structure here. Yeah, I think that's all we're going to get. I think that's all we're going to get. We'll keep our stop up at the pyramid here. And in case this was just another leg of manipulation, we'll see. But it looks pretty good. It looks to me more significant because it's going to create a fair value gap here. And change in structure here. See if we close above here. See, there's our bullish fair value gap formed here. Now, if we close below that, then we're probably going to take it at that bottom. But we'll see. Well, actually, if we close below this bar here. It's respecting it. Let's just say we get stopped out. So what do we miss that by? 282.5. Yeah, 3 points, 3 or 4 points. Happens. But, when you see a turtle soup like that, and you want to put your stop here, nothing wrong with that. Okay, you could do that. In case just scoop that and heads back up. I think it's still going down at some point. We may go up 50%. We may go up to like 350 and then head back down. But, we got kind of the end of the day coming here too. But there's a lot of stops sitting there. They take that out. A lot of sell side liquidity sitting there. Now, if it sells off from here, then think about what just happened. I'm not saying it's going to, because it could go back up. But if it does sell off from here, what did they do? Well, they created a reason for people to go long based on this price bar. And guess where those stops are going to be? Right here. So think about that, right? And anybody short might have had their stop where I told you you could move it down to pyramid. This sells off when we reach that target, then the pyramid's smarter than any of us because it had to stop up here. Okay, kind of interesting. But let's see what happens with that. Respected so far. This heads up from here, then that truly was a sweep of equity down here. Turtle soup, they call that. This is a big deal, this price bar here. We got above there, then probably that pyramid will get stopped. Oh boy, here we go. Let's see, come on. Has to close below that. Swept the low of that. So that's bullish. We got only 3 seconds remaining before this bar closes. Yeah. That looks to me interesting to see if we can get over this. Looks like it wants to. So it looks to me like this was the equity sweep. That was most important tonight, this afternoon. So when we see this in the future happen, we got a bullish scenario. All right. That is kind of interesting. Oh, well, swept our equity anyway. That did sweep it. Okay, so that would have been an area. Oh, so that's one target, I guess we hit here, didn't we? We did hit it. For some reason I thought we didn't, but we did. Okay. So then our stop for everything is up here. All right, so we kind of did. Actually, I don't think we did. That was it. I think I moved it by accident. I think that was it. Okay. Our pyramids have a voice associated with it. So when it gets hit, the exit will voice out. Now, if it sells off from here and hits our target, that will be interesting. Be right back. Gotta go check on the dog. Okay, let's see what we got here. Did we get it hit here? Pretty close. All right, that's it. All right, so we would have gotten stopped out. Okay, so missed our target by just a little bit, but still a successful trade if we had taken that to the short side. So kind of interesting. So in the future, when we have actually we had a 3, look, we took equity on this pyramid here. All right, then we took it here, then we took it here. So when we swept that there, that was pretty interesting. We are now in the middle of, look what happened here. So on the 5-minute, consequence encroachment was respected on the 5 minutes. We may sell off from here. Okay. So that stop, even on the pyramid, might have been a little too tight. But, it's late in the day, so nothing, I'm not going to do anything. All right, so that's it. Okay, we're going to call it quits there. We did $232.10 in the first 40 minutes. This trade could have been taken here, okay? But at the end of this one, I said that was it, okay? And then the 2 o'clock algo kicked in better than I thought. So that actually could have been a trade you could have taken, but okay, it is what it is. All right, when I say I'm done for the day, I'm done for the day, okay? That's the discipline I have with that. All right, so anyway, thank you everybody for being here. Hope you enjoyed that. I did, and we'll be back at the same time next week, and then we may think about changing the time, but no guarantees on that yet. The only thing I would do on that is change it maybe to the morning session to get the morning session manipulation and play that. It's a little faster, but that's okay. But this is fun. I enjoyed it. Any questions, feel free to ask. I'll put links in the recording for everybody else, and we will see you next Friday. You have a wonderful weekend, okay? Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.